Yeah, that was the slightest bit still lethargic, I think, just because of the slowness of last week and coming in kind of late. But even then, that set felt even more explosive than the last set, and it kind of just bounced to the top. So, considering everything I was just saying, I'd still call that a productive session and data point as well for the next session. That was the 485 I was talking about last week. It was actually quite a bit easier, which I anticipated, but I can't tell if I can use that data or not because I missed most of last week, which could have acted as a mini deload. So I'm trying to lock that in, but also a lot of the time it's not in my control because I'm focusing on a lot of really important things right now outside of the gym, and I don't have all the variables answered, which if it continues that way, which I do presume it will, I won't. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop taking all the information I do have to make my sessions better. Like this one was quite a bit better still, in spite of those things. So I do count that as progress, although it does feel still maybe a little bit heavier than it should be. But that just means let me be the experiment. If I can still figure this out while balancing, I'll just go into it a little bit. I was at the hospital most of last week, and at the same time, starting August 3rd, I'm going back to work, which is 48 hours a week and an hour and a half each way drive. So that's what's been really eating into tracking progress and walking in a routine and making sure everything's on point. But as I was saying, if I do end up making progress, let me be the experiment that you don't have an excuse either. It does feel, as I was saying earlier, it does feel better. So we'll see what these back down sets feel like. And based on my session before this one, my deadlift session before this one, I think the back downs are also going to feel a lot better too, even proportionally to last week. So just with that, it's still progress, but it's just really slow and hard to gauge at this point. So I did anticipate that. That was quite a bit easier. I did stick with the extra 10 pounds from last session, and still it's not that bad. If I really went to failure, I might get 15 or 20. It's hard to tell, but I am splitting hairs here. But yeah, I think it looks good. I made the call there to go ahead and start with 3 plates for my farmer's walks, just because of how well it's been feeling, even though, as I was saying, my volume isn't all the way up. Since I'm getting the newly gain phase for these, my adaptation is so high that it just, at this point, it doesn't really matter what I do as long as I'm doing them. That's why I think the adaptation is so high. But I don't need to really start with 1 or 2 plates anymore. 3 is fine. Even on this set, or whatever you call it, I'm not really yet strong in terms. With this one, the start and really all the way through until I had to turn around was extremely easy, and it feels a lot better. So even though I'm not making progress, at least I'm not losing any strength for the other things I'm doing, but I still can get newly gains with other parts of my training. So in total, I'm making progress, and all of this is still going to contribute in some way, shape, or form to my deadlift in the future. So even though it's not really clear what's going on right now, as long as I lock in, obviously first of all, but this, in the future, I'm still doing good because I'm over 20. I'm still doing good for what I can do in the long run. So, you know, to be 1,000 pounds.